We've all heard a lot about this year, police reform and changing the way police in Oregon respond to certain situations. Now, state lawmakers are putting some of those ideas on paper.
Fox 12's Simon Gutierrez takes a closer look at some of the specific changes to policing that they're considering right now.
There are several bills being discussed in Salem right now that would bring significant changes to law enforcement. Everything from police accountability to use of force. House Bill 2928, introduced by Representative Janelle Bynum, would prevent law enforcement from using chemical incapacitants like tear gas. The use of pepper spray for crowd control would be allowed, but only if a mayor or sheriff declares a riot.
What is your personal stance on the use of chemicals during some of these gatherings, protests, and eventually riots?
If you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So that's one part of the problem. With respect to using tear gas and munitions, I think more restraint could have been used if we had been more precise about what was actually happening, or been more honest about what was actually happening in the crowds.
In public hearings last week, the superintendent of the Oregon State Police pushed back on the proposal.
There is no doubt that chemical agents cause irritation and discomfort to those exposed. But use of that tool will limit the use of my troopers having to use hand-to-hand physical interaction with protesters. And when we do engage with the protesters in a hand-to-hand physical type engagement, significant injuries and even death can occur. And that's absolutely what I'm trying to prevent.
Two other bills deal with officer conduct. House Bill 2930 would create uniform standards of conduct and discipline established by a new state commission. House Bill 2936 would require a person's character to be investigated before being accepted as a police officer. It also prohibits racist behavior by police officers and establishes a statewide officer misconduct hotline. The language in that bill has at least tentative support from the Oregon Coalition for Police and Sheriffs, a group that lobbies on behalf of law enforcement.
I'd like to make a clear statement that OrCops is unwavering in its sentiment that there is no place for racism, bias, or discrimination in policing or any public service.
Those bills, along with several others, are currently being discussed by the House Subcommittee on Equitable Policing. Representative Bynum says the discussions about policing so far have been encouraging.
Do you think we'll see meaningful police reform pass this session?
Oh, yes. The momentum is there.
Lawmakers will continue to take input from the public about the various reform proposals. The bills would need to be approved by the House Judiciary Committee before going to a vote on the House floor, which could happen sometime in mid-March. I'm Simon Gutierrez, Fox 12 Oregon.